Welcome to the Armchair Pundits Manchester United post-match review show. I'm your boy Monts. Another away day at the Stadium of Light. That's right, we're playing Sunderland. Last week I was sure about a few things. This game wouldn't be easy. Carrick could ring the changes. But outside of that, securing Champions League meant that we had one less thing to think about. But I feel like after the season we've had, we owe it to the fans to finish the season strong. So I don't, in my opinion, believe that ringing all the changes would be necessary. However, Xerxes started today, Mount started today, Martinez was back from suspension. So you could see already that the spine of the team had already been tinkered with. Albeit Sesko was injured, Casemiro was rested as well from a little knock, and Martinez was just getting his place back from his suspension. I was really underwhelmed. So underwhelmed. I'm worried. And I'll tell you why I'm worried. Because we've made 3 changes and our team looks horrible. We look like we did last year. Devoid of ideas, no attacking prowess, no risk-taking really up front. Xerxes, as much as his celebration deserves to be in Man United, because one hell of a celebration that is, but I haven't seen it enough this season. That's not enough for us to keep him. For me, he needs to go in the summer. He's just not at the level that we require. He's not much better than Højlund. If not, they're on the same par. So in the summer, I wouldn't be surprised if I already know that there's talk about him going. So yeah, he needs to get on his bike. Mount, this was your season, your opportunity with Amarin really showing trust in you to really kick on. But I feel like not only has the injuries held him back, but maybe his confidence as well. And I couldn't see even a glimpse of what he was providing at the likes of Chelsea. Maybe that's because in large parts, the attacking side of things, it was built around him, when realistically, anything attacking is built around Bruno, because he's our most creative midfielder or our most creative player, full stop. So Mount, there's going to have to be some questions and to be answered between now and the end of the season, which is only a few weeks away. Our right side in Ahmed and Mbumo, a little bit worrying, because like when you have 2 quality players and you often find that when one is dipping in form, the other one is shining. And when that one that was shining starts to dip, the other one then rises to the top. And you can almost find and strike a balance between the two. Not for us. I feel like Ahmed and Mbumo have both struck a run of form that doesn't reflect their quality at all. And that in itself is worrying. Yes, you could argue that they can play in multiple positions, but they need to be effective in the positions that they're the best at, and they're just not at the minute. Yeah, it was worrying. I mean, you got to ask yourself, we're away at Sunderland, and it takes us up until the 93rd minute to get a shot on target. Like, it's beyond me. Last week's performance and this week's performance is just like night and day. Like 2 different teams entirely. I feel a lot of that is to do with the Casemiro change, with Casemiro not being there. Now, Mainu doesn't look as good as he did last week. Bruno still looks good, but not as good as he did last week. They don't look as effective in a game as they have done in weeks gone by. You can see that, Casemiro is almost a linchpin. He's normally almost a tie that puts everything together. You can't look to Ugarte and say to yourself, he's going to give us that. That ain't happening. Ugarte has not got the skill level at all to even look at, or, smell Casemiro's boots. So in the summer, when we're talking about the Tonales of the world, Tucumenes and, Beliebers, I understand why. We need someone that is going to be able to protect the back 4, but also give the 8 and the 10 a license to just do anything they want going forward. And someone that can pick a pass. Mount, for me, was maybe supposed to play that position, or maybe Mainu took Casemiro's position and then Mount was trying to do what Mainu's been doing, but it wasn't working. It didn't work, in fact. The game ended 0-0, and United could have easily been pumped 3 or 4-0. There was some real good interchange from Sunderland. Some 1-2s around 3 or 4 of our defensive midfielders and our defenders, pulling us out of position to the point where the strikers had 2 or 3 one-on-one opportunities, and also having sighters at goal where Lammens had to get his hands to nearly all of them. 1 or 2 crept around the post, but Lammens he was the difference today. Lammens was the difference maker today. He was my man of the match, because without him in between them sticks today, United would have been thumped 2-3, 4-0 easily, because there were some real good chances from Sunderland. Then they should have done better, in honesty. I think the performance from United demonstrated a few things. We can't go next year into Champions League with this exact squad. Nah. There needs to be some sort of overhaul. We need to be ringing in some real favours to some of the teams that we know that we've got links with. And if we have to get a loan or 2, we do that. But we definitely need to look at reinforcing that midfield. We need another decent number 9. Yes, Chido, Obi, he's a good striker. But for me, he still hasn't shown it in the first team. He still hasn't really shown what he's been doing in the reserves and, the unders, in how potent he is up front and how effective he is up front. I mean, he's better than Xerxes, and I could have probably done with him today, but yeah, we're going to need a plan B for when Sesko isn't fit and or has to be rested for one reason or another. I've got no worries on the left side with Cunha and Dorgu. I feel like between them two, the left side is cool. In Bumo and Ahmad, I think they're probably overdue a rest from AFCON, so we could argue that next season will be a better season for them. So I'm not going to grumble too much, but their dip in form since coming back needs to be looked at. And then they need to kind of look at themselves in the mirror in the off-season and say, right, we need to do better next season. We do need to find a deputy in a number 10 for Bruno, because I don't know how much longer he is going to go performing at this level and not being rested. It is a tough toll on the body with the World Cup coming in as well. I think our defensive line in the midfield needs to be looked at. Kobe's signed a new contract. Haven't got an issue with him. Mount, not entirely convinced. I think if he went in the summer, I wouldn't be upset. I also believe with Casemiro and Ugarte on their bike, we could look at getting somebody in. Unfortunately, where we are now in the need, so we're in a demand for someone in that position, the only thing that's going to come as a result is Man United going to have to pay top dollar. So where we were looking at 100 mil for Belieber, arguably, he probably hasn't performed since that time at the best level. So we hopefully can go in and get him for less if need be. But Tonali also is a very close contender, and he's been performing. So maybe we are looking at, 80 mil for our defensive midfielder. Our back line, maybe right side. Dalot he's a team man. He's, a squad man, basically. You can have him in the team. He brings up morale. He'll probably bring the team together. And I know you don't want someone in your squad just for that, but he could also deliver some real killer blows in terms of delivering the ball in the box. And defensively, he's okay. But I don't really believe he shouldn't be our number 1 right back. We got plenty of replacements for the 2 centre-backs, so I'm not worried about that. And on the left side with Shaw, maybe we could pick up a left-back so that Dorgu ain't having to do left-back next season. Lammens, buying there, we need a better deputy than him, because for me, he's no good as a number 2. But Lammens, you can't move him. He shall not be moved. Now, I know this is probably a little bit of a change to what I'm used to doing from weeks gone by in terms of giving you a full match review on how I feel the match went. But I'm having to go through the squad because we need depth. Ineos needs to put their hand in their pocket, They need to provide us a budget for the summer, and we need an overhaul. We need at least 4 or 5 players to really put ourselves in a good position to not embarrass ourselves when we go into the Champions League next season. That is the most important thing that's going to happen. Do we wait until the World Cup's done and the players that we're looking at perform really well, and we then end up paying maybe 30, 40% more than what we would do if we bought them early? No, we don't wait. We get them now. But knowing Ineos, they'll wait until the summer, and then we'll get in a new manager then, and or sign Carrick for 3, 4, 5 years, whatever it is, and then we'll start investing at that point. I'm gonna end with this: should Carrick stay or should he go? I think, in my opinion, I think Carrick should stay because he's stabled the ship. He's shown that the players listen to him and they're buying into his idea. He's also demonstrated that he can get results even in the toughest games. You could argue that, what about today? Well, today wasn't necessarily a tough game as such. We just didn't play well. And I feel like that was because some of the players that were missing were important. And not only that, the players that we replaced him with wasn't of the quality that Man United really need. So that was the reason for our performance loss today, our draw today. So yeah, Carrick should stay. Ineos should give him a budget before the World Cup, and he should be able to pick who he wants so that when these players are going into the World Cup, they can play knowing that when they're coming up after the break, they're coming into the Man United camp and we can start ticking from the jump. I don't want players coming in with 1 week's pre-season and having to wait until November, December to see if they're going to go and be all right or not. Like, I don't want to see that. So yeah, guys, that's it really. 0-0 away from home against Sunderland isn't the greatest result when you want to secure the 3rd place, but it's the result that we got today. If you've liked what you've seen and you've been following, please share. Make sure you kick that thumbs up. I want you to follow us on all our social media platforms: X, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And yeah, guys, comment. This is your boy Mons. See you next week. Peace.